This is Matthew Cratter from Trader University, and today I want to talk about why Bitcoin is breaking out. If you're interested in learning how to make money in both bull and bear markets, or you just want to see what I'm trading or investing in, be sure to hit that subscribe button. So we're getting a really nice breakout that's sort of continuing from over the weekend. We can see that we're getting almost what they call a three white soldiers breakout under it's a candlestick terminology where you have three kind of long green bars. These maybe aren't quite long enough to qualify, but it looks like we're breaking out toward the top end of the trading range. And it's a really nice chart formation. It looks a little bit like our favorite rocket stocks or momentum stocks, where you have the price of the security, in this case, Bitcoin, trading above the 50-day moving average and the 50-day moving average above the 200-day moving average. Nice golden cross over here. And we can see that we're approaching this area, sort of this key area where Bitcoin failed back at the beginning of June. These sort of 10,400 levels, and then also the peaks around 10,500 that occurred right before the COVID crisis really hit the markets. And so this is a very constructive movement. Obviously, we had the Bitcoin halving back in May. There's a lot less supply hitting the market, but I wanted to talk about some of the more fundamental reasons as well that it's breaking out. And as I've said in my previous videos, we're entering the most bullish period of the 4-year period for Bitcoin, and that's the 12 to 18 months after the halving. So I'm looking for really, really big gains in Bitcoin through December 2021. Again, none of this is investment advice. I own a lot of Bitcoin, and I'm very, very bullish on it. Now, we saw on Friday that I'll link to this video about, I've been arguing for a long time that the US is not going to ban Bitcoin. They're just going to regulate it and tax it. And it's currently taxed just like a stock. If you hold it for more than a year, you get that low long-term capital gains rate. But the news that I was covering on Friday, which I'll just reiterate really quickly here, is that the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, this guy, the acting head of it, used to work for Coinbase, which is a cryptocurrency exchange. And he basically came out on July 22nd, so just a few days ago, saying that national banks, U.S. big banks, and federal savings associations can custody crypto. They can hold Bitcoin, they can store Bitcoin, etc. So this is really huge news for Bitcoin, and it suggests that the U.S. is definitely not going to ban Bitcoin, at least not anytime soon. We have a real window here where Bitcoin can go up a lot. I've also discussed just these huge flows that are coming in. Obviously, when you let banks hold Bitcoin and other crypto, it means it's massively bullish for the space. It means that all these banks are either going to buy custody companies or they'll come up with their own, and you'll be able to store Bitcoin at Wells Fargo. Now, I hate Wells Fargo. I would never store my Bitcoin there, but I think it's still very significant for the inflows into the space. We've been talking also about how PayPal Venmo looks like they're going to be announcing sort of a crypto or Bitcoin integration by this fall. A lot of rumors, nothing official yet. But this is another source of flows into the space. We have big institutional flows, but now we're beginning to see all these new channels for smaller investors as well. If you can buy PayPal really easily if you can buy Bitcoin really more easily using PayPal, it'll be very similar to what Square's been doing with the Cash App. They've had a lot of success. You probably see a lot of people online buying Bitcoin using Square. But there's even more interesting news coming about sort of the legalization, quote unquote, legalization of Bitcoin. Someone just sent me this article from July 24th, Bitcoin deemed money under D.C. financial services law. And so this was a court ruling on Friday that ruled that Bitcoin is basically covered under the Money Transmitters Act. And they use this, they're filing criminal charges against a guy who was running an underground Bitcoin trading platform. But basically what this shows is that they're going to regulate Bitcoin, and it's going to be regulated under the Money Transmitters Act, which is, as I understand, is currently done on a state-by-state basis. But we have some news on what's happening there. This is actually an old article that someone just sent to me as well, about Brian Brooks, the same guy who worked for Coinbase, talking about unveiling a new payments charter this fall. And what this will mean is that traditionally you had to register as a money transmitter if you wanted to move money around. So what banks basically do, they obviously do deposits, they do lending, and they do payments. And it looks like what Brian Brooks is trying to do is sort of help the fintech industry to kind of break out that money transmission piece, that payments piece. And so what he is suggesting is that if you want to become a money transmitter, you shouldn't have to register with all 50 states as it is currently done. And so he's suggesting that there's going to be a payments charter that's going to be unveiled by the OCC in the fall that will grant a federal preemption or a federal money transmitter license, which means that you're no longer, if you want to start a money transmission company, payments company, you no longer need to go registered in all 50 states, and that can be very cumbersome. Some states, I guess, are more difficult than others when it comes to developing a license. So this is very bullish for the new financial services company. It's bullish for crypto and Bitcoin, and it's a big blow to the traditional banks because you don't really need to have all these sort of traditional bank buildings and branches, etc. And in the meantime, we see Warren Buffett buying more Bank of America, but what can you say? He calls Bitcoin rat poison squared. He's been wrong so far, and I think he'll continue to be wrong. So we basically have a Bitcoiner who is running the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. This guy joked that he's actually the acting comptroller of the cryptocurrency, the OCC. Want to talk about a couple more fundamental articles here. Visa is changing. They're becoming more crypto friendly, more Bitcoin friendly. This is from a July 22nd post. It's really a blog post. It's amazing how everything is hitting all at once. If we go back and look, we can see that just back in 2018, Visa was really cracking down on Bitcoin, didn't want anyone to do Bitcoin. And this is when Bitcoin was sort of in the last kind of blow off top. But they've really changed their tune now. They're going to allow Bitcoin to be integrated into the, it looks like they're going to allow the payment system to be integrated into the Visa payment system. It looks like Visa's also been working already with companies like Coinbase and Fold, etc. So another large blue chip financial corporation becoming Bitcoin friendly. Looks like Mastercard is doing something very similar, where they are going to make it easier for consumers to hold cryptocurrencies. Again, this is July 20th. We're talking really recent news things happening now. And so this is one reason I think we're seeing all these flows. There's been a little bit of a delay, but I think this couldn't come at a better time with all of the halving and all the Fed money printing, etc. Finally, just want to look at some Bitcoin price targets. This is the Plan B stock to flow model, which I'll link to below. We can see that we're right. Basically, you have these dots, these colored dots, which are the price of Bitcoin at the end of various, I think they're weekly numbers. And then you have the red line, which is the model. And you can see how well Bitcoin has tracked the red line. Sometimes it goes over the red line by a lot. It gets sort of overbought. Sometimes it crashes below, it gets oversold. We're just coming out of one of those oversold periods. But over the long term, this has been a very good model. Not to say that it has to hold going forward, but I think it holds at least for the next one or two halvings. And what that means is we should see, what this chart does is it's looking at a 365-day average of the stock to flow. You can see, as I said, this is the most bullish part of the period, but this shows Bitcoin using at least the 365-day average, which kind of smooths everything out for the stock to flow, shows Bitcoin rising to above 31,000 by the end of this year. Again, the all-time highs were at 20,000. We're really just getting not too far away, especially when you compare it to other currencies. Bitcoin really needs to just double from here to hit new highs. Ethereum still has to go up 3 to 4x to get back to where it was. So I'm only interested in Bitcoin in this as a long-term hold. So we see Bitcoin rising. We can see that by next summer, this has it at about 92,000. There's an alternate Plan B model which suggests that Bitcoin could hit 288,000 sometime between 20 and 24. But where this gets really exciting is when you hit the numbers after the next halving, after the 2024 halving, and you really start to talk about, by the end of 2025, start to talk about $1 million per Bitcoin. So I have a lot of people emailing me saying, is it too late, etc., etc. Well, if you think Bitcoin is going from 10,300 to $1 million, it's not too late. Again, risky investment. Anything could happen. It's extremely volatile, but it definitely something that has the potential to go up 10x, 100x, 200x, even 500x. I believe Bitcoin is like many assets that benefit from network effects. It's either zero in many years from now, or it's worth millions of dollars. If it succeeds, it should be trading in the millions of dollars. And we have every reason. It's tracking very well. We have the traditional financial system setting up pipelines to get some money into Bitcoin. So I'm extremely bullish right now. I think this is a true breakout. Now, what could happen? Obviously, this could be, we could just still be stuck in this trading range, and we could be failing right here somewhere at this sort of resistance level. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm a long-term Bitcoin holder. I'm going to be holding maybe for the rest of my life, certainly until we get into the millions. As one Bitcoiner I saw on Twitter recently said, I'll sell my Bitcoin when you're willing to give me something good for it. And I think he talked about a 20-mile square area of a major metropolitan center, something like that. I'd be content to trade one Bitcoin for a really nice house on the beach in Hawaii or in California, which would probably be talking about $10 or $15 million for one of those houses. So again, very bullish on Bitcoin. Is still risky, is still kind of an emerging asset, but I think it's very exciting to see this breakout. So let me know your thoughts. I'll link to these articles, all the Plan B articles below, and you can check out my other videos where I talk about Plan B's stock to flow model. Please hit that subscribe and like button if you found this video helpful, and let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.